Wapenzi wangu watazamaji mwambaje. How are you doing tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I hope you had a fantastic Saturday. Najua weekend jana imeanza mapema, jana mukapanda miti nini. Now today, of course, we have Say What? And I'm telling you, tonight, yani tutaka hapa kwa studio na kuambia kutawaka fireworks because yani what we are delving in ni kitu imetu affect. Kwanza kama uko Nairobi, kama uko Mombasa, Kisumu, Eldoret na waona sana watu wameumia with these people called narcissists. And also, by this, it's very important to note that we have the doctor here. World Mental Health Day actually was today? Yesterday. So we're discussing all that, but of course tonight we're really focusing on narcissistic behavior ikikuja kwa relationships. Unajua wale watu wanakula bomb, yani ukianzana nao yani wanakupenda, wanakunulia hii, wanakuweka kwa first class business. Na kwa yani maisha ni London, lakini after some time vitu zinaanza kwenda hivi downhill. So today we're discussing that here. I have a fantastic guest. He is a psychiatrist. He's Dr. Joseph Nyamiobo. And of course, we have Pastor Sue Monene, who's going to be joining us, of course, tonight. We're going to start the show with the news tonight. Let's begin with the highlights. Supporters of President William Ruto intensify their campaign efforts to secure his re-election. Opposition leaders have pledged to speak with one voice following a meeting between President William Ruto and KANU Chairman Gideon Moi. Leaders contribute to the ongoing discussion surrounding the police recruitment exercise, proposing follow-up measures to ensure transparency in the process. Well, thank you so much for staying with us right here on TV47. It's always such a joy having you join us here on the show. And our sign language interpreter tonight is Catherine Simaloy. Let's get it started. Now, the search continues in Mombasa for 3 people still missing after a dragon boat capsized during competitions at the East Africa Ocean Festival. Now, the incident, which left families devastated and tensions high, has prompted local leaders to urge calm as rescue teams comb through the waters for the remaining victims. As our Mombasa-based reporter Quinto Wafula now tells us, the tragedy has thrown the popular event into mourning.
Along the shores of the Indian Ocean at Tudor Water Sports, crowds have gathered not to celebrate the East Africa Ocean Festival, but in sorrow, hoping that the bodies of their missing loved ones will soon be recovered. Tragedy struck this location yesterday when a dragon boat capsized during the competitions. The boat had 22 occupants, 19 were rescued, but 3 remain unaccounted for.
Last 2 days, life jackets na kasia zimekuwa kwa boat all along. Leo training, leo mashindano, no life jacket. We are being rushed. Let's get back to the boat to shindane.
Among those waiting in anguish is the family of Caleb Otieno. Their only son, his aunt, overwhelmed with emotion, reveals that Caleb didn't know how to swim, calling the tragedy a devastating blow to the entire family.
Ni mtoto mmoja kwa peke yake. Anataka experience ya kuogelea hana. Kwa nini amekuja huku kuogelea? Kwa nini wakuweka watu wana experience kuogelea?
Another grieving family is that of a 24-year-old Steve Karembo, described as the breadwinner. His death leaves behind dependents who now face an uncertain future.
Yeye ndo ameacha mke wake, ako na mimba, ameshamaliza miezi 9, so alikuwa tunangoja hizi siku kadhaa tu ajifungue.
Survivors of the ill-fated boat are pointing fingers at the event organizers, accusing them of failing to provide timely rescue efforts. They also claim that no proper safety gear was provided during the races.
Round 2 ya ile boat kugeuzwa, ndo kila mtu aka give up kwamba hapa na imetosha.
Kenya Navy has never been prepared kuokoa watu wanapoanguka ndani ya maji.
On several occasions, chaos broke out at the scene. Just last evening, angry youth attacked an ambulance in protest. Security officers and local leaders have since assured the public that recovery efforts are underway, but cautioned that retrieving the remaining bodies may take several more days.
Inaweza chukua muda mpaka hata 72 hours, 3 days hivi.
The possibility of having had the bodies either moved outwards or inwards.
Kinto Wafula, TV47.
President William Ruto's second-term agenda is meeting fierce resistance in parts of the country. In Tana River, Governor Dado Godana has openly rejected the president's re-election drive, citing exclusion of his county from national development projects and job opportunities. Now, during a Thanksgiving ceremony in Taita Taveta, government allies led by Transport CS Kipchumba Murkomen hit back, defending Ruto's record. Paul Kirobi reports on the political heat building up as 2027 draws closer.
President William Ruto's re-election campaign continues to raise debate across the country, and today one of the strongest objections of the campaign has come from Tana River Governor Dado Godana, who openly voiced his dissatisfaction with the national government's treatment of his county.
Tuache kujipiga kifua na mambo ya tutam. Mheshimiwa, mambo ya tutam. Hapa mwimbaji amesema kiongozi uchaguliwa na Mungu.
According to Governor Godana, Tana River has not significantly benefited from the current administration. He accused the government of sidelining residents and job opportunities and major development projects, many of which are spearheaded by international organizations, not the national government.
Serikali ya national hapa, Korea wako hapa, Italy wako hapa, mashirika yote ya dunia yako hapa. National government inajivuta kila siku, inajivuta. Tulichukua miaka mingi kwa convince kwamba this is a solution.
His remarks drew a sharp rebuttal from Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, who accused the governor of being loud but ineffective.
Nikiona wewe kelele, wapi kelele. Rais akikuja hapa kelele. My friend, let me tell you something. The reason why some areas of Kenya are underdeveloped is because of leadership. And if you want Tana River isonge mbele, wewe let me ask you, Governor. Wewe ukiongea vile uliongea hapa mbele ya Prime Cabinet Secretary wetu, bila heshima yoyote yenye umempatia, akifika Nairobi anafikiria nini kuhusu uongozi wako?
Earlier in the event, KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli defended President Ruto's leadership, citing tangible development strides. He suggested Kenyans should prepare for Ruto to lead the country for the next 10 years.
Na ndio kwa sababu mimi nataka kuambia mambo ya 2027 hata msishutuke hata dakika moja. By 10 a.m. I've been around for some times. William Samoei will be your president.
The leaders were speaking at a Thanksgiving ceremony in Tana River for Amani Yuda Komora, the current chairperson of the National Police Service Commission. Meanwhile, President Ruto's allies led by Faruk Kibet and woman representative Catherine Wambilianga continued to rally support for the president's re-election bid.
Mkiona mama hapa mujue serikali ya Kenya iko hapa. Sasa hiyo wimbo ya tutam, make it better, imbia Daktari William Samoei Ruto. Tuko pamoja?
Na hii nyimbo mnauza hata kwa wala wasikii. Bora unatunga nyimbo ambayo haina ukabila. Ni nyimbo tu ndio haina ukabila. Ama nyinyi hamuamini namna hiyo? Akisema ako na kitu kwa mfuko, hiyo ni ukabila kweli?
Wambilianga urged local musicians to back Ruto by creating campaign songs. Ruto's close aide Faruk Kibet echoed her sentiments, encouraging musicians to amplify the president's message at the grassroots level. The day ended with a public engagement forum with the Basonje clan, where the son of the late Malulu Injendi Ryan Malulu officially endorsed UDA candidate David Ndakwa ahead of the upcoming by-election in Malava, Bungoma County. Paul Kirobi, TV47.
As the country edges closer to the 2027 general elections, A cross-section of civil society groups and jurists are calling on Kenyans to elect leaders of integrity. Now, speaking at a leadership forum organized by the International Leadership University, speakers said Kenya must now move beyond personality politics and embrace values-based leadership, especially in the wake of the Gen Z movement that has rekindled political consciousness. Now, the forum observed that despite the gains of the 2010 Constitution, the country remains trapped in old-style politics that undermine accountability and reform.
Who are we bringing into office to implement our constitution? I always say that when we got our new constitution in 2010, we should have had a total change in terms of who then gets to lead this country. It was almost like a case of, you say, I'm with people who read the Bible, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. Is it new wine in? New wine in? Yeah, so I think we poured new wine, right? We poured new wine into old wineskin, right? Because we had this new constitution, yeah? But then we maintained the old set of leadership. Or even if there were new leaders, there were people who didn't really change, who exhibited the values of the olden days. But what we needed was a total reset in terms of leadership.
The character of us leaders matters most because laws and policies per se cannot change a nation. It is those who operationalize the laws and policies that change societies, that change nations.
A new storm is brewing in national politics tonight. The United Opposition Alliance has accused President William Ruto of using his allies in Mount Kenya and Ukambani to weaken and divide the coalition. Now, addressing rallies in Embu and Meru, the leaders insisted that no amount of political manipulation or blogger propaganda will break their unity. Apollo Kamau reports on the growing war of words between State House and the re-energized opposition front.
A day after affirming their unity at the Wiper Patriotic Front National Delegates Convention, United Opposition Alliance leaders pitched tent in the populous Mount Kenya region, displaying a fresh show of solidarity.
Arambe!
The leaders, Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua, Justin Muturi and their allies addressed supporters in Embu County, where they lashed out at Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru and her Embu counterpart Cecily Mbarire. They accused the two of hiring goons to disrupt their Embu tour and alleged the governors were being used by President William Ruto to divide the opposition.
Mtu yeyote anatumiwa na Ruto kugawanya mlima ni adui ya mlima Kenya. Na watu wanatumiwa na Ruto. Wewe gavana Waiguru, wewe Karinda, kwani nyinyi hamuna akili? Ruto wako pale anaunganisha jamii yake ya Rift Valley.
Yeye alisema watoto wapigwe risasi Maguru, na nyinyi nasema mko tayari kumpiga risasi. Wangapi wa tayari kupiga Ruto risasi? Hiyo risasi haitakuwa ya Maguru kama yeye. Yeye tunampiga risasi kwa ballot ili awe one term.
Leo kama Wakenya wenzenu tuko hapa kuwaomba ninyi mliomsaidia na Rigiji alimshikilia nusu ya kura zake alitoa hapa kwenu. Tunawaomba jamani, tushikane tukomboe taifa letu kutoka kwa Zakayo na ushuru wake. Wangapi wanasema Zakayo aende?
Former Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, who was in neighboring Meru County, attending the burial of Mwakairo Rukunga, grandmother to PNU party leader Peter Munya, also took a swipe at the Kenya Kwanza administration, accusing it of hiring bloggers to claim his a state project.
Ndio nakasirika saa ingine nikiona hii porojo na upumbavu naona kwa magazeti eti mimi ndaenda kufanya kazi juu na nani. Nifanye kazi na hawa watu mimi nawajua kuliko watu wengine mimi mnajua. You don't know these people. I know these people very well. How can I work with them? How? Hata afadhali uende ukae chini ya mtu nyumbani pale na mama na baba zako na watu wako badala ya kuambiwa ufanye kazi na watu kama hao.
But allies of President Ruto, led by Mwala MP Vincent Musyoka, popularly known as Kawaya, while in Malindi, dismissed the united opposition's show of unity, claiming that Kalonzo is being used as a pawn by Gachagua.
Wewe hata hukuwa kwa debe. Kama hukuwa kwa debe, sasa tena mbona wewe utusukume kwa opposition kama the chief opposition leader mwenyewe amewachana na hiyo siasa ya kukata.
Apol Kamau, TV47.
Thanks, Apollo, for that. Now, moving on, there was a show of unity in Tana River County when a newly appointed National Police Service Commission chairperson, Yuda Komora, and Inspector General Douglas Kanja made their first joint public appearance since rumors emerged of strained relations between their offices. As Samira Mohammed now reports, local leaders are now calling for reduced entry requirements for officers from marginalized regions to promote fairness in the service.
At the heart of the ongoing dispute between the National Police Service Commission and the National Police Service is a recent suspension of police recruitment. However, today in Tana River County, the newly appointed NPSC chairperson Yuda Komora and the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja appeared together publicly. Their joint appearance signals a possible resolution to weeks of speculation regarding strained relations between their offices.
Makofi makubwa ndugu IG. Alafu akisaidiwa na ndugu Amin pale, pigeni makofi ndugu Amin.
Their joint appearance comes amid increased scrutiny over the nationwide police recruitment exercise, which had been temporarily halted by court orders. However, Chairperson Komora has downplayed reports of division between the National Police Service and the National Police Service Commission, stressing that both institutions share a united purpose and commitment to public service.
Team, munapotuona hapa leo, walivyokuja hapa kama IG, we are standing kama timu moja. Tuko commission moja. Ninaamini kwa utekelezaji wa kazi za serikali kupitia kwa umoja. Kulikuwa na kelele pale, lakini tangu tulipoingia mmesikia, si mnajua kumezima.
These, as a section of leaders, have called on the police service and the commission to lower academic qualifications requirement for marginalized communities to ensure equality and fairness in the recruitment process.
Wakenya waliniambia kwamba tulete chini kidogo ile qualification ya wale ambao wanapelekwa kufanya polisi kwa sehemu hii. Na ni ukweli kwamba affirmative action lazima itumiwe kwa sehemu ambazo ziko marginalized ndio tupate vijana wa sehemu hii. Na sio hiyo peke yake, pia commission pamoja na National Police Service tumeambia waende extra mile. Waangalie ile jamii ndogo ndogo hawana mtu kwa polisi ambao hawajaandikwa, wapewe pia nafasi ya kuandikwa.
Nimesikiza kijana ule ambaye ni majority leader wa ODM akizungumza akisema uteremushe ile entry point to D-. Mimi nakuomba toa iwe elimu katika watu wa polisi kabisa, kwa sababu kuna marginalization.
Today's display of unity between Komora and Kanja is being interpreted as an important step toward restoring confidence within the police service and the public. Samira Mohammed for TV47.
Now, the government is facing fresh pressure to enforce stronger measures against deforestation and illegal encroachment on forests and riparian lands. Now, Murang'a Senator Joe Newtu, who led a tree planting exercise across several schools in the county, warned that continued destruction of forests could deepen the effects of climate change and threaten the country's water sources. Now, Newtu is urging the Ministry of Environment to intensify conservation efforts and ensure strict enforcement of existing environmental laws.
We have had reports of some constructions happening in Karura and I think recently in Gong Forest, and we must call out on government. The government must continue taking care of the environment. The government must not participate in bringing down or cutting down our trees or doing deforestation. The government should actually always speak about afforestation. But for the ordinary Mwananchi like me and you, we want to say that every time you cut a tree, just like the late Daniel Moi had said, make sure. Daniel Moi said plant 2.
those of you who are planting this tree, we are advocating that you do it, and in large numbers, especially in this Mazingira Day. As a university, we have done research, ni ile mti ambayo inaweza ikasurvive in all the climatic conditions. Ni mti ambayo ukipata hata dry season utaweza kunawiri vizuri. Kwa hivyo sasa hii mti ambayo tumewaletea ni mti ambayo itawasaidia na iko na economic benefits.
Now, the world may be winning the war against tobacco, but the battle is far from over. A new global study shows that the number of tobacco users has fallen from 1.38 billion in 2000 to 1.2 billion in 2024, with women leading the charge in quitting smoking. But as Elizabeth Atieno reports, the rise of e-cigarettes and vaping is threatening to reverse years of progress. Take a look.
A new global report by the World Health Organization reveals that the number of tobacco users has declined from 1.38 billion in 2000 to 1.2 billion in 2024. Since 2010, 120 million fewer people are using tobacco. Women have been at the forefront of this decline, with the number of female users dropping from 277 million in 2010 to 206 million in 2024. However, the report notes that over 80% of tobacco users worldwide are still men.
The WHO projects that NCD-related deaths in the country will rise to 1 in every 2 deaths by 2030.
While tobacco use is declining, a more serious trend is emerging. The number of people using e-cigarettes has hit a record 100 million. Alarmingly, 15 million children aged between 13 and 15 are now vaping.
165,000 children of the ages between 10 and 17 are using tobacco and nicotine products. The TATSA's survey showed that children of 6 years and even less are actually partaking these products. Why? Because of the flavors which are there and the sweeteners which are there.
In Kenya, 8.5% of people aged 15 to 65 use tobacco products. Among university students, usage rises to 12%. Additionally, 24.8% of youth are exposed to second-hand smoke at home, and 44.5% at the workplace, a growing concern contributing to the country's burden of non-communicable diseases.
The anti-narcotic team of the DCI, they have confirmed to me in writing that this substance contains dangerous drugs, not what the importer is saying.
46% of patients in treatment for chronic respiratory diseases, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and cancers had a history of tobacco use. Alarmingly, it reveals that 12,000 Kenyans die from tobacco smoking annually.
Globally, tobacco remains highest in Southeast Asia at 37%, followed by Europe at 24.1%, the Americas at 14%, and Africa at 9.5%.
You know, every year we increase tax on these harmful products, but it's not helping much.
The World Health Organization is urging governments to strengthen tobacco control measures by closing legal loopholes that allow the tobacco and nicotine industries to target children, and by regulating new nicotine products, including e-cigarettes. Countries are also being called upon to raise tobacco taxes, ban advertising and sponsorship, and expand cessation services to help millions more quit smoking. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
All right, now Professor Igara Kabaji has been installed as the first Chancellor of Mount Kigali University 10 years since its inception. Kabaji will serve a 4-year term. The installation ceremony, graced by dignitaries, professors and scholars, including University Board of Governance Chair Professor Simon Gisharu, highlighted the need for quality education. Professor Kabaji promised to steer the university to greater heights and position it among the best in East and Central Africa.
Pomp and color filled the air during the inauguration ceremony of Professor Igara Kabaji as the first Chancellor of Mount Kigali University. From the academic procession to the presence of dignitaries who graced the occasion. The University Council led the way, as it is the tradition in academic ceremonies. The event was attended by key leaders, scholars and professors, each speaker emphasizing the importance of quality education, a value that Mount Kigali University proudly upholds.
Wherever we will go, that we will go having established institutions where people are proud. My work, I have said, is simple. Give you the investment. Your work is simple. Mentor and develop this institution to be what it ought to be. We are together.
Professor Egara Kabaji, a distinguished scholar and author of 52 books, now assumes the role of a chancellor. He promised to elevate the university to new heights, vowing to transform it into regional hub for research and academic excellence.
To think and to produce knowledge that changes lives. We must become a university that is known, cited and respected not only in Kigali, not only in Rwanda, but across Africa and the world.
Mount Kigali University, which has been in existence for 10 years, boasts state-of-the-art infrastructure and facilities offering conducive learning environment. With the chancellor now in place, the university can now hold its own graduation ceremonies, unlike the past when students are to travel to a sister campus in Kenya to graduate.
For the production of knowledge in the region, a place where scholars engage in rigorous research, publish their findings, and influence policy and practice across Africa. To turn this dream into reality, we must build structures that sustain scholarly work.
With Mount Kigali having gotten its first chancellor, this provides an opportunity for propelling its operations as well as taking a notch higher its quality of education. Elizabeth Mutiko, TV47, Kigali, Rwanda.
All right, a big congratulations to Professor Egara Kabaji. All right, we now take a look at some business news. And Royal Enfield, the world's oldest motorcycle brand, has officially entered the Kenyan market with the opening of its first exclusive store at Roslyn Riviera Mall in Nairobi. Now, the iconic brand, known for its rugged mid-size bikes, is expected to disrupt the boda sector and appeal to motorcycle enthusiasts with its durable, high-performance models suited for both city commutes and adventure trails. Partnering with the Ganatra Plant and Equipment Limited, Royal Enfield aims to redefine two-wheel mobility in Kenya with a blend of heritage, reliability and power.
Features as it was in those days.
The quality of the motorcycles are much higher than a lot of the other motorcycles on the market that are being sold. The client base that we're looking at is very diverse, from like the high-end motorcycles, which are like 650cc. The of motorcycle increasing in Kenya, it seems like the perfect time to enter the market at this point. We'd like to get ourselves established in Kenya first, and thereafter we can look at the region as a whole and see maybe whether we can look into getting into Uganda, Tanzania.
We decided to take Kenya as the first country to really launch in the central African region. Motorcycling culture is picking up in this country. What we saw as a gap was the retail environment is totally missing from a motorcycling standpoint, right? And we said probably this is an opportunity for Royal Enfield to establish the retail motorcycling industry in Kenya.
Now, Vivo Energy Kenya, the Shell licensee in Kenya, has bagged 2 top awards from the Kenya Pipeline Company during this year's Customer Service Week. Now, the company was recognized as the highest global throughput performer and for the highest throughput achievement at its Nairobi terminal for the 2024-2025 financial year. Now, the awards were presented by KPC Managing Director Joe Sang to Vivo Energy Kenya Managing Director Peter Murungi, a recognition of Vivo's operational efficiency in petroleum distribution.
KPC is not an infrastructure for Kenya. It's for the region. And I think we should appreciate KPC more today, talking from a customer perspective, that you've been able to keep us with product flowing. It's not easy. I've run depots. I understand the whole aspect of running that safely, making sure that you are delivering 9 billion liters across the region.
Customer Service Week reminds us it's about experience. It's about the trust that we've been able to build and collaboration over the years. For people to be the #1 throughputer, and I'll just give you the statistics. Last financial year, ending June this year, Vivo Energy across our installations were able to throughput. Throughputing means move the volume out of the pipeline to the tune of 1.67 billion liters.
Okay, so you know what? We want to take a short commercial break, but of course we have so much coming up. Remember, tonight our topic, we're discussing narcissistic behavior, especially when it comes to relationships. It can be at work, you know, at home, but now we're dealing with relationships. And earlier on my Instagram, you know, I asked, you know, my followers, you know, like, what is their experience? And I have quite a number of really sad tales, I must say. Esther, I will not say the full names, but you say, they made me think I can't be loved. Somebody here, Winnie, you saying they said I'm fat and they are ashamed of me. Everything they say or do is just worst. Okay, I think the messages are really, really terrible, but we'll continue to just sample some of the experiences, of course, that people have had. And that's why we would also want to hear from you as our audience. We have our numbers. Of course, they're going to be on the screen. Just talk to us and tell us about your experience with a narcissist. Remember, it could be a man or a woman in a relationship, how they made you feel. We're discussing that tonight with a psychiatrist and, of course, Pastor Sue Munene. They're going to be joining us shortly. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Also coming up, many narcissists make powerful first impressions. Their confidence, charm, and wit can be magnetic. Tonight, we peel back the mask.
Is a world elite.
Okay, and welcome back. Time for some sporting action. Kenya's men's national football team, Harambee Stars, has arrived in Ivory Coast ahead of their crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying match set for Tuesday next week. Now, Harambee Stars head coach Benny McCarthy expressed confidence that his side can upset the African champions, buoyed by their 1-0 victory over Burundi on Thursday. Now, Kenya currently sits third in Group F with 12 points after 9 matches, while Ivory Coast tops the standings with 23 points. All right, we wish them all the best. Now, Kenya's John Korir will be the man to watch when the 47th edition of the Chicago Marathon kicks off this Sunday, October 12th. Now, the defending champion is determined to retain his crown and possibly make history again on the first streets of Chicago. Now, Korir stormed to victory last year in 2 hours, 2 minutes and 44 seconds, the second fastest time ever recorded at the event. Now, 28, Korir has set his sights on breaking a milestone officially achieved only by the late Kelvin Kiptum, who set the current record in Chicago in 2023.
Has been well, and I can't complain. It's time for the examination, so I need to produce the best result. I had people in the press conference talking about the world records, but to me also I want to go near them. Yeah, and I'm not scared of anybody. This is a game. It's anybody's race.
Niko tayari kukabiliana na wanaume wenzangu hapa. Mazoezi yangu imekuwa vizuri, nimeprepare race vizuri, na kwa hivyo ninaweza sema niko tayari kwa mbio inayokuja Sunday.
Race imekuwa poa, so kudebut tunajua sio rahisi, so ni kwamba tukumaliza, and we hope for the best. Kila mtu amejitayarisha, kila mtu anataka kuwin.
Makueni County is set for a major boost in sports and youth development following the official launch of the Empower Champions Talent Academy in Kitise Kithuki Ward. Now, the international initiative aims to nurture talent across all sporting disciplines while promoting environmental sustainability. Now, the academy will bridge gaps in youth development through inclusive programs and sustainable sports infrastructure. The launch also featured a symbolic tree planting exercise marking the beginning of a climate mitigation program integrated into the Academy's broader vision of holistic youth empowerment.
We needed something like this. We wanted to gain something, gain knowledge. Tunataka tu atupeleke tu place mbali. That's why we are putting more effort in this training.
Tumepata mipira mpya na tulikuwa na tatizo. Hata tulikuwa na mipira ambayo ilikuwa katika hali duni, lakini tuko na mipira mpya. Na hivyo basi imetusaidia. Pia ukiangalia uwanja wetu umesafishwa, umetolewa zile chafu zilikuwa pale, na huu uwanja saa hii tunaweza kucheza bila tatizo.
Tusaidia kwa kina ku tap talent zenye zimekuwa azitokee huko majuu kuonekana, iposa wakaweze kujulikana na tupate wachezaji wazuri katika kila nyanja za michezo.
Dream is to grade all the fields in Makueni County, start programs in all the fields in Makueni County, and that one will form the base of our academy, Empower Champions Talent Academy, because our plan is for 10 years, but in 2 years now we'll have some groundwork starting.
All right, so that's it, of course, for the first part of our show. I know a lot of people are really waiting for tonight's edition of Say What, because any inatu affair.